Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Welcome back for another quick tip here with Wingman 115 and myself, Jaime. This time we're gonna touch a little bit more on the knife thing. Again, I love my archery, and like I said in another quick tip video, I believe that cutlery and archery go hand in hand out in the field, in particular, especially if you're a bow hunter. So one of the things that I want to talk about is the way we carry our knives. The reason why I'm saying this is because although there is no right or wrong answer, and I think everyone finds what works best for them, I do also feel that there happens to be a big influence by the media, particularly Hollywood. And I'm an example of that, in the sense that when I was a kid, and I don't know who else did not get affected by this, but when First Blood first came out with Rambo, everybody had a Rambo knife. It even affected even the SEAL teams when Buck Knives came out with the Buck Mastered big ol' honkin' survival knife. Well, guess what? Practical application, not so much. And in the world of bushcraft and hunting, everyone started to realize these big ol' honkin' survival knives with hollow handles weren't the thing, but we were influenced. Fast forward to when the Hunted came out. The knife, love it or hate it. And that's a whole other topic of conversation. What I want to talk about that is the carry system, that scout carry. You know, I've been in Army infantry, later went naval special warfare, and I've been hunting and fishing out of Texas and now in California for a while. And prior to that movie, I never saw anyone doing backdraw scout carry stuff. And obviously the movie came out and everyone had to have the knife, and everybody wanted to carry their knives in that way. So that's going to be part of my discussion as to, just because we see it on TV or movies and we think it's cool, you better think about the practical application. So for those of you that are seasoned and been doing this for a while, this is probably just kind of be a recap, but if there's a lot of new people or young folks out there, I would like to pass on this information to maybe help you out in my findings and my experience. I'm not a guru, I'm not a know-it-all, but this is what works for me, and this is a why as to how I do what I do. So one of the first things I do want to discuss is that scout type carry situation. There's a lot of manufacturers that can make a sheath to be carried in multiple ways. This knife here is coming from CFK Knives. They do offer a belt loop method for your vertical, as well as these straps for a horizontal. Doesn't mean it's scout, just means it could be a horizontal carry. Same thing with Mr. Doug Wilson of Yellow Hawk Custom Outdoors. He can make Kydex sheaths that can be carried, like you see here, vertical, or he can have a nylon strap for a vertical, and even loops for a baldric. There's a lot of larger blade guys that will carry their knives that way. But again, just touching on that scout carry, again, if you're someone that has been wearing it and works for you, great, perfect. But I'm just going to talk about why I don't like it and why I think it's a little bit unsafe. I think it's kind of safe to say that when you've got a sharp object and you're going to be inserting, you know, or extracting, you kind of don't have that visual control. You can kind of get a feel for it. You know, that's a thing. People can slowly, but I tell you what, I've cut a lot of leather sheath just with my knives in a horizontal just because they're super sharp, let alone myself for gear. Now, if you're a troop and you're kitted out, which I understand, again, being former military, I know what it is when you got all this gear. Maybe that's your only space. But if you're an outdoorsman, you're getting in and out of cars, and you kind of want to have your knife to be visible. So that kind of impedes it, or if you're sitting down behind it, I don't see where my knife is at. So that's one of the reasons I dislike that carry, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Talk about vertical. Vertical is your more traditional method of carry. We've been carrying knives like that for, you know, since the beginning, I think. Now, that knife's gonna be pretty secure because it's sitting down, you got gravity forcing that knife down into the sheath. So unlike a horizontal or even like a upside down, gravity's working here for you, keeping your knife in. Now, some people don't like it when a knife is riding too high up because that handle can dig in. So I understand that. Some people want to drop that knife a little bit so you get into your dangler systems and whatnot. Makes more sense. Also for me, I love anything that has a natural movement. Anything that I have to be somewhat contorted, it kind of goes against my flow. So like with handguns, you're coming up, everything's natural. My Leatherman, boom, it's right here. So if I have a knife, if it's vertical, I would want it to be easy to pull out. So that knife is right there and it's easy to drop in. And one of the benefits to that also is you can see where your knife is. I had discussed in another video about lanyards. So if you got a lanyard and you're like, is that knife still there? You can glance down. If I got it on the small of my back, I really can't see it. And so that's an issue there that I had just talked about. So yeah, but now the only problem that I don't like about having a vertical on my side, especially if this is my dominant hand, is that, and for whatever situation, this hand is tied up or not being able to be used, my other hand can't get to that knife. So that's something that's important to me when you're in the outdoors. Again, I'm talking more outdoors here, not military application, otherwise things would change here. So if I got my knife over here, whether it's in a dangler system or up high, yeah, my strong hand can get it, but. So this will then spill over to why I prefer horizontal cross draw. Obviously you can have horizontal in different ways, and I've seen individuals carry them different ways. There's one gentleman that I know that he wears this here, so his hand, his dominant hand, can extract it, easy in, easy out. He can look down and see that his knife is there, kind of like my Leatherman here. But that left hand, if this hand is occupied doing something and I need to use this hand, it's kind of hard to extract if it's over here and the sheath is going that direction. Y'all get where I'm going with this, right? Because here, there's my dominant hand. It extracts, easy peasy. And I can look down, there's my blade. If I need to use my non-dominant hand, if this is, you know, God forbid, we're in a self-defense situation, you know, this can come out and boom. Or for whatever reason, you know, I could hear the what if ninjas going crazy right now. But hey, I'm just talking practical application here. Again, if we're in the military, if I was a scout sniper, or if being former naval special warfare, I wouldn't wear this here because I got all my kit and whatever. I would have it, maybe I'd have it on another leg, maybe I'd have it a different mount, and I've experimented with different ways. But right now, as the average individual woodsman or going out, this makes sense to me. Okay, so that's just that on that. Neck knives, that's another one. Love them or hate them. You know, and again, people like, oh, you know, especially with neck knives, you can either go with a blade coming up, handle up, or handle down. So that's a big topic conversation, but we're just talking about the neck knife round. There are times when you can use them, when it makes sense to use them. There are times when I go on a hike and it's just boots, shorts, water, and a neck knife. So I'm not gonna have a belt knife on some running shorts or walking shorts, and this works great for that because it's right there. It's easy to get to. Now, let's say I'm in a cold weather situation, I got a big heavy coat, and I'm out in the woods, that horizontal may not work because that coat's going over. Then I'll throw on a neck knife. I can even use a big heavy neck knife, maybe not so much as a neck, but over the shoulder. And I've seen individuals do that. I saw a gentleman, I forgot what video it was, I wish I'd give him credit for this, Falkneven A1. Y'all know how large that knife is, and he carried it upside down on the little lanyard system. It was well secured over his shoulder, over all his heavy coat. That made sense. So again, every application will be different to dictate, but neck knives, I think they're great. Small little neck knives. Again, another sheath by Doug Wilson of Yellow Hawk Custom Kydex. Y'all can't tell I'm a fan of his, with my little CFK Damascus steel necker. I know I talked about lanyards in another video. Here's my pinky lanyard. I went into all the reasons why, but anyways, this knife's right here. It's ready to go. I had Doug Wilson put in a light because when you're out in the woods, it's nice to have a light at the ready. Doug Wilson, he can put whatever he wants on it. Now, it's not just a Doug Wilson thing. You can be innovative. And, you know, here I got this idea from Doug, but I put a little compass on this fire starter. So again, people, you know, see what works for you. Experiment. And again, don't let Hollywood be such a big influence on what you do just because it may look cool. So be safe, use common sense, and get some dirt time in to find out what really works for you. So thank you very much for your attention. I appreciate it, and we'll see you around some more videos. Y'all have a good one.